What's up guys, my name is Tenbagger. I've made over $1 million through the market through long-term buy and hold investing, and I want to leverage my fund training to help guys like you, ordinary investors, beat the market. Let's talk about two facts about markets. One is they hate uncertainty, and two, they're fair. They price in whatever information is available at the time. So if you want to beat the market, sometimes you have to act before there's perfect information by using and making inferences around what you know. So over the coming weeks, there will be more information, more data coming out about this variant, about the transmissibility, the virulence, and the vaccine resistance of the new strain. And over time, that will all come, but let's digest what we know so far and see if there's reason to panic or if this is a potentially good buying opportunity that you wouldn't want to miss. I'll be offering my assessment based on what we know from viral epidemiology and science, and combining it with levels across many of the sectors that were hit hardest by COVID, and then offer you my personal opinion in terms of whether this is a buying opportunity or not. First, let's talk about this new variant, Omicron. It has a scary number of mutations, around 52, and those mutations are in scary places. About 30 or so are in the spike protein that is used to escape vaccine immunity, or so we think. The market absolutely hated it, with the Dow dropping 900 points on Black Friday, and travel and leisure stocks sunk even lower. United sunk close to 10%, falling as much as 13% during the day. Carnival dropped 15%, and that slide has continued into Monday and Tuesday of this week. I think the reason for the drop is that people don't know too much, and there's a real fear that the vaccinated individuals there will have done it for nothing, that we will face potentially an entirely new pandemic and have to start from square one. That is the worst case scenario. Whenever we evaluate how serious a new strain is, we have to consider three factors. The first is transmissibility, the second is vaccine resistance, and the third is virulence. So let's talk about transmissibility first. What we know for certain is that existing vaccines are almost guaranteed to be less effective in preventing the spread, keyword spread, of the virus. We saw that in just a few weeks, South Africa was talking about this new variant overtaking Delta in terms of new incidents. And there have been cases that have not been traced back to South Africa and the broader African continent, so it's spreading and there's signs of community spread going on. Now, the second factor is vaccine resistance. Because of the number of mutations and the location of them, our vaccines are almost guaranteed to be less effective against Omicron. Both Stéphane Bancel, CEO of Moderna, as well as Albert Bourla of Pfizer, have said that there's going to be likely a material drop in vaccine effectiveness, but they're also almost guaranteed to work to some extent. So at the present, this is a bit of an unknown, but it's going to be a negative. However, the positive news is that both Pfizer and Moderna claim to be able to tweak their shots to be effective against the new strain in about 90 to 100 days or early 2022. And Joe Biden said on Monday of this week that he would give the order from above to approve the new vaccine as quickly as possible. So from a vaccine resistance standpoint, I'd rank this as a little bit of a positive, actually. We're definitely not going back to square one of the pandemic. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that tunnel is only about 100 days long. Now, the third one is where it gets interesting, and that is virulence. See, mutations occur by random chance, insertions and deletions in viral mRNA. And the vast majority of mutations are harmful and thus do not confer any evolutionary advantage. According to scientists, there's a give and take going on where you can't have so many mutations all congregate into some super virus. Evolution, biology just doesn't tend to work that way. So while the headline number of 52 is eye-popping, it's not guaranteed or even likely that all of these are going to be harmful. Now, what we do know is that it usually takes a few weeks for a new variant of the virus to be discovered by scientists. And since then, there have been 0 deaths despite it being in circulation for several weeks now, and very few hospitalizations linked directly to this new variant. So it's been circulating unabated all this time, and we know that in a few weeks, ordinary COVID, the first COVID that we had back in March of 2020, that can kill within this time. Ordinary COVID can definitely put people in the hospital. Delta can do both of these things, but better. So what gives in the case of Omicron? So unless the good people of South Africa are bearing the evidence of deaths and hospitalizations, there doesn't seem to be too much of either going on. And according to one of the doctors who discovered the variant, the symptoms were reported to be very mild, such as fever or tiredness. Nobody is being hooked up to ventilators or the ICUs yet. And while she could be politicizing the response by purposely purporting a lie, I actually believe her. It's very easy for any one of the 100 or so people with Omicron to speak up and call BS whether on Twitter, on WhatsApp, or any of the social media outlets out there. This has also been corroborated with sources outside of South Africa, with travelers in Europe claiming that the symptoms were very mild, from fatigue to light fever. You're not seeing the signs of elevated virus, how Delta had 1,000 times the virus within their bodies and bringing people into the hospital sooner. You aren't seeing the sky-high death rates within India, people running out of oxygen left and right. So at the present, what we know about the virulence is that it doesn't seem to be as serious of a strain as Delta. And the other thing you should keep in mind is that Omicron is thought to have been born out of immunocompromised patient, such as one with HIV or AIDS, and couldn't generate a sufficiently high immune response to clear the virus. So the virus kept mutating and accumulating mutations the whole time without crippling the patient, and crippling is a strong word, without aggravating the patient enough to send him to the hospital and get tested for the virus. So what does this all mean? So markets react to information once it's available, and the markets will have a lot of information about the virulence of the virus in about a few weeks to a month from now. And during that time, if the information corroborates what we know right now from science about the potential virulence or lack thereof compared to Delta, and combine that with a seasonally strong period of the year with the Santa Claus and the Christmas rally, you could get to a point where come late December of this year, markets and stocks, especially the ones that have been hit hardest by the news of the Omicron variant, are significantly higher than they are right now. And you wouldn't want the risk reward that is presently attractive at the moment, where the CNN Fear and Greed Index is in the 30s. Some of these travel stocks are making fresh 52-week lows. If you're a long-term investor, I don't see any reason not to start averaging down and buying some of these dips in the areas hit hardest by COVID, with the expectation that within 100 days, there will be a solution to the problem. That is Omicron. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, nothing is more important than your time, except for maybe your money. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll get to them, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Peace out.